So Trump's on a whirlwind Mideast tour, right?
Okay.
And he gave this speech.
Let me look.
And our friend Arnaud Bertrand, who also often gives good insight into what's happening in the world, he says that I rarely praise Trump, but this is a genuinely incredible speech. Okay, but do you condemn Hamas? That's my question. So here's the speech.
The transformations have been unbelievably remarkable. Before our eyes, a new generation of leaders is transcending the ancient conflicts of tired divisions of the past and forging a future where the Middle East is defined by commerce, not chaos, where it exports technology, not terrorism, and where people of different nations, religions, and creeds are building cities together, not bombing each other out of existence. We don't want that.
Peace. He wants peace. I'm pretty sure that guy right there. I'm pretty sure that guy right there is the guy who had that Washington Reporter chopped up into little pieces.
Yeah, that's MSB, MBS, MSB.
Yeah.
Now that guy, I was told by someone he worked for Turkey. He was intel, and I'm not sure about this, but I think his dad is Adnan Khashoggi, isn't he? The arms dealer.
Oh,
so there's something shady about that guy.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what, but that's what I've been told.
And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East is...
Did he say Kabul? Isn't it Kabul?
Kabul.
It's Kabul. He said Kabul. Anyway.
Been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves. Peace, prosperity, and progress ultimately came not from a radical rejection of your heritage, but rather from embracing your national traditions and embracing that same heritage that you love so dearly.
But do you condemn Hamas? Seriously. So here's what Arnaud, is that how you pronounce it? Arnaud Bertrand said. He said, I've been arguing for close to a decade that the single biggest reason for the growing divide between the West and the rest was the West's inability to accept diversity, the genuine kind, not fake ersatz of it sold to you under liberalism. Diversity of cultures, traditions, civilizations, governance systems, etc. Incredible and kind of disturbing that Trump is the first Western leader who seems to understand this and to criticize the West's missionary zeal to remake others in its image. Remember I think it was Sam Harris who said, you know what, let's make Iraq look like Nebraska. Wouldn't that be good? Remember he said something like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's full of great. He's always been great.
He's always been great. So, and yes, absolutely. Trump seems to reject the notion that universal values like human rights or democratic governance should be shared across civilizations. But I happen to completely agree with this myself.
Yeah, well, we don't want a one world. This is about the New World Order. Trump is repudiating the New World Order. That's all that this means.
Yes.
It is disturbing that because I love that what he said. But it's disturbing to me, a thing that's so obviously true. This is a big deal that it was said, you know? It should have been said a long time ago when they started this crap. So, I mean, I guess you got to be happy for the little things. I don't know.
So Arnaud says the rejection is what I consider true diversity. Each civilization has a right to different models, cultures, and values. I'm perfectly comfortable with the fact that China, Saudi Arabia, and France have fundamentally different understandings of human rights, each making sense within their own historical and cultural contexts. By the way, what is the phrase basic human rights? I've always had a problem with that. Basic human rights? Is that like at a car sale? Human rights come with manual steering. Unless you're wealthy, then you get power steering.
Yeah, I like advanced human rights.
Advanced. While I believe some basic principles may be universal, like mass killings are bad, universalism as an ideology has historically done far more harm than good. Like, you know how they get upset at remember when they wanted to do the war with Iran? The CIA would make a protest. They would foment a protest, instigate one in Iran about a woman taking her hijab off, right? And
yeah,
then
she's got a mask on, though.
Yeah, and I know. And so, hey, that's their culture, right? You know, I grew up Catholic. The nuns also wear what they call a headdress. They call it a habit, I think. So universalism as an idea has done far more harm. Universalism functions as a form of absolutism, as in only those values are rightful. And as we all know from Star Wars, only a Sith deals in absolutes. Or put it another way, the most destructive episodes in modern history began with the certainty that one civilization's truths should become everyone else's reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I never watched Star Wars, so I don't know what a Sith is, but
I remember hearing them say that the Western civilization is superior.
Yes, that's the whole Sam Harris, Bill Maher thing.
Yeah, and all the things that they don't like about Western civilization came from Western civilization.
Yeah, I know.
They didn't come from the Arabs.
All in all, whilst Trump can be, I like that when someone uses whilst. All in all, whilst Trump can be criticized for many things, and I do so myself all the time, his recognition with this speech that different civilization models can coexist without one imposing itself on others is actually a profound and immensely necessary step towards genuine peace, regardless of who articulates it. I'm with you on that, Arnaud Bertrand. I'm 100%. And again, Trump, like all politicians, has many flaws, and you can criticize him all day long. But he's doing things that other politicians have not done. By the way, he's pushing peace instead of war. And he seems to be, in most instances, he's pushing peace instead of war, right? In most instances. Ukraine, Pakistan, India. He just made peace with the Yemen. Syria, he tried to pull the troops out, and the generals undermined him.
What? Check it out.
Check it out. I didn't even say anything.
I know.
I said Syria, and then my iPhone thought I said Siri. Perhaps a consequence of the failed campaign against the Houthis. That's what Senecat says. This is perhaps a consequence of the failed campaign against the Houthis. Come to think of it, the fact that they even tried that campaign tells us that a month ago, he didn't think like this. Arnaud says, true.
Well, before that he did, because he talked like that, then went back on it.
Yeah, he did think like that, and then he went back on it, and now he's going back to his original position.
Hey,
but
I want to believe he's sick of Israel. I'd like to believe it.
I'd like to believe
See what
it
happens.
Too. We'll see what happens. Hey, remember when Barack Obama said you shouldn't? So it looks like Trump's over there doing, so according to Arnaud, Trump's over there doing PC stuff that we should have done a long time ago to help countries get to. Remember what Barack Obama said, why you should not vote for Trump?
If you are a service member and you're somewhat conservative and you're used to voting Republican, I can understand it, but somebody who genuinely does not believe in duty and honor and does not understand why anybody would sacrifice themselves on behalf of their country. Why would you do that?
Well, because it sounds like Trump has always been less of an interventionist than all the other warmongering neocon presidents. Maybe that's why, if you're a service member, you would vote for Trump, because he seems to, remember, he tried to pull them out of Syria. Remember that? He said he'd want to end the war in Ukraine, which he's trying to do. He just, according to him, negotiated a peace deal with India, Pakistan, and avoided a nuclear confrontation. He's now trying, the Abraham Accords, trying to bring peace between, in the Middle East. That's why. That would be
Obama's, it's pretty vile what Obama just said, because what he's going is, Trump doesn't understand human sacrifice.
Yeah, that's right. So here he says, well, now here it comes.
If you're a Muslim, American, and you're upset about what's happening in the Middle East, why would you put your...
Well, if you're a Muslim American and you're upset, why would you vote for Barack Obama, who drone bombed innocent Muslims all over the globe with a 90% innocent kill rate? 90% of the people he killed with the drone bombs were innocent. He killed an American citizen with the drone bomb.
Almost no one I say that to really cares. They blank it out. Joe Rogan is the last guy I told it to who repeats it. Everybody else is like, oh, yeah, it's bad. I've already moved on, though.
From what?
From the killing 90% innocent civilians.
Oh, yeah, with the drone. Yeah.
We're already on to the next war.
So if you're a Muslim American and you're upset about, Barack Obama fomenting a dirty war in Syria to overthrow Assad, you mean like that? You mean if you're a Muslim American and you're upset that Barack Obama bombed the shit out of Libya, turned it from the most successful country in Africa to a failed state? He poisoned their water with depleted uranium-tipped bombs. And now there's slave markets there. You mean like you'd vote? So this is that guy telling you shouldn't vote for someone else if you're a Muslim American? Isn't that amazing?
Well, he's saying it Muslim to Muslim as a guy who's not from America.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna let you know when Trump is doing bad. His H-1B visa stuff is just destroying all the savings from Doge and giving it directly to the warmongers with his increased Pentagon budget. I'm gonna let you know. But when he's doing something good, and Arnaud Bertrand is on, I'm on his side too.
Feels like you should keep track of which ones are the good things and which are the bad things. That seems like just basic. This is a very basic thing that everybody would do that shouldn't be unique at all.
Yeah, I'm not on Team Trump. I'm on Team America. And if he's
racist.
What's that?
Well, that's racist.
I know. Okay, over to Steph.
Okie dokie, here we go. All right, where did we leave off? With a fistful of steel, Nina Kant says. No one is allowed to be ashy at a Diddy freak-off party, FSO. The prosecutor, Maureen Comey, is the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey. She's there to make sure the real crime doesn't come out. Oh,
that's exactly what I think.
Yep, miss me with it. Thank you. All right, Savage. Thank you, Savage. Old Nosy. Kurt, have you seen the Greenbaum tapes? I think you may have mentioned it before, but I just watched the professor's speech and my mind was blown.
Wait, the Greenbaum tapes? What's that?
I don't know. Greenbaum, B-A-U-M. Greenbaum tapes. I don't know.
Like the fake name Mengele used when they brought him to America, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they call him Green or Greenbaum. Mengele was here for a while. America brought him over on purpose to learn what he learned from his many experiments.
Oh, yeah. We defended many Nazis at the Nuremberg trials. The dullest.
We got all the best ones. Russia didn't get as many good ones as we got.
Old Nosy, our country is descending into Soviet Union mock trials. James Turner recommends journalist John Ziegler would be an amazing guest. Thank you for that.
I know Zig Ziglar.
A different Ziegler.
You imagine your last name is Ziegler and you name your kid Zig. That's I think that was they were relatives of Chris Christie's.
Sounds like an anime character.
What did Zig Ziglar? He wrote a famous book, right? What did Zig Ziglar write? Oh, come on.
Say Syria.
What did Zig Ziglar write? No. Is he? What else? Zig Ziglar is famous for what? Motivational speaker. Yeah. Okay. Awaken the greatness within. I know I've read books by Zig Ziglar. So get a load of this. So a lot of people are saying Trump is crushing it right now. Trump had some hard hits with his tariffs. He had to walk those back quickly. As soon as the bond market got restless, he walked it back. And in just 1 week, just according to Libs of TikTok, in just 1 week, President Trump secured a UK trade deal. Really? A China trade deal. Sounds like it was release of the American hostage. I'll give him that. Ceasefire with India and Pakistan. Okay. And a ceasefire with Yemen. Okay. This is exactly what I voted for. Plus he also went further, and he gave an olive branch to Iran recently. I'm going to cover that. And then he also took all the sanctions off Syria. Little late, but at least he did it.
A start.
I mean, that's all very good, but I say, where are the arrests that we were promised?
Very good question, Jimmy.
Where are the arrests of all the people who did the Fedsurrection? Remember that? We're going to arrest those people. All the people who did Russiagate, we're going to arrest those people. All the
people covered up for Epstein, the people who covered up for take your pick of all the things, the people who got rid of the evidence at the FBI.
Yeah,
how about didn't obey the order to bring the stuff out?
Now, Kash Patel says he believes that Epstein hung himself. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He said, I should have played that. I saw a video of that the other day. He was being asked in Congress, do you think Epstein killed? He goes, yeah, I think he committed suicide. I'm like, oh, these guys, huh?
They got their heads straight.
Yeah. It's like the guys at it's like Marty McCarry, who was outspoken against the COVID stuff, saying, I don't know if a healthy 12-year-old girl should take a booster or not. I can't answer that. So here is a video put together by a MAGA booster. Now, the reason I want to show you this is to show you how someone who's really down for Donald Trump sees things. And then I'm going to show you how someone who's not down for Donald Trump sees things. And you see if they're how much different they are. So let's watch.
I don't know if you noticed, but in one weekend, this past weekend, Trump has reshaped the world. While the media was silent, Trump was making history. For starters, he brokered a ceasefire between India and Pakistan, brokered an in-person meeting between Ukraine and Russia. Then he announced the long-awaited trade agreement between the US and China. He signed an executive order to slash prices on prescription drugs by up to 80%. Trump's envoy confirmed that Hamas agreed to release the last known American hostage in Gaza. He signed an executive order for a self-deportation program to allow illegal immigrants free flights and financial incentives to get out of our country. And finally, he signed another executive order establishing the National Center for Warrior Independence, aiming to house up to 6,000 homeless veterans by 2028. I don't know about you, but this is what I voted for. We voted for the man that is right for this job. During a weekend, 3 days is what it took for Trump to accomplish 7 major things that'll reshape this world. During Biden's whole presidency, he couldn't even accomplish one of these things. I'm blown away. We still have 3.5 more years.
Okay, so that's how if the hardcore Trump supporter sees his last weekend. But then, so I'm like, yeah, it's a little over the top. So then I'm watching Judge Napolitano. And Carrie Burgess tweeted this video out. It says, holy crap on a cracker. This is huge. If the judge and Professor Sachs are talking about it, it's happening. Well, Well, let's just watch what he says, and then I'll give you my. Here, watch this. So, Jeffrey Sachs, no fan of Donald Trump. Here's what he said. And neither is Judge Napolitano.
President Trump is going to call for a state of Palestine as a UN member state. That's the breakthrough.
Now, this was just released a few minutes ago, Professor Sachs, from a closed session of the Knesset Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee. You're probably familiar with their committee structure. Prime Minister Netanyahu, quote, this is stated in Hebrew, but we used AI to translate it. I think we will need to wean ourselves off American military aid, close quote. If he said that, what does that tell you, Professor Sachs?
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Hirono, he'll be very upset.
Here we go.
Well, that would indicate that he recognizes that the U.S. is going to pursue a different foreign policy, not to support his wars. This would be wonderful news.
I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear about Bibi saying that. I didn't hear. So this is the first time hearing about it. This is Judge Napolitano and Jeffrey Sachs saying that seems like Bibi is recognizing that Trump and the United States they're not going to go to war with Iran. Doesn't sound like they want to. They've already stopped bombing the Houthis in Yemen. Okay, let's see.
Might suggest that he has the advance notice that President Trump is going to call for a state of Palestine as a UN member state. That's the breakthrough that we need above all. If it happens, and if this quote suggests that, of course, we're reading a lot into it, but if it suggests that, that is phenomenal news. It's interesting, by the way, we should understand how many foreign policy initiatives President Trump is engaged in just this moment that look positive right now. And this is astounding. First is Ukraine. I think he is maneuvering to get that war ended, and he's doing it very successfully. With the U.S.-China today, the agreement to roll back the tariffs that went to the stratosphere a few weeks ago, this is very good news. With the president intervening in the India-Pakistan battle of the last few days to bring together a ceasefire, with the president overriding Waltz, apparently, and certainly Netanyahu to say, no, we're not going to have wars with Iran. All of these are peace-seeking initiatives. It's amazing. And if it's true, President Trump will make history. It's very close. He needs to understand and really needs to see that if he says two-state solution, no nonsense, this is the real thing, all his other goals will be achievable. And that is a remarkable, remarkable fact.
But think of the ramifications of this quote, assuming that Netanyahu said it. I think we will need to wean ourselves off American military aid. Where are they going to go? They're going to give them what the U.S. gave them.
I'll tell you where they would have to go. They would have to go to normalcy, to diplomacy, to peace. There is no military alternative for them other than.
I've said that forever. If Israel didn't have the United States military backing, they would have to become good neighbors. They'd have to stop with the Greater Israel Project. They'd have to stop treating the Palestinians and keeping them in a concentration camp, which is what that is. And now they just wiped it out. It's not even a concentration camp anymore. I've said this, and so that's what he's saying. He's saying, well, looks like they're going to have to become good neighbors. Well, we'll see. Hang on.
The U.S., and if President Trump finally stops the U.S. backing of these military adventures, they have no other place to go. What they will have to do is wean themselves off of a 30-year addiction to war. They have to go to real diplomacy with the Arab neighbors, real diplomacy with Palestine. But most importantly, and I think this is the key point, President Trump can bring about peace by recognizing the state of Palestine.
Right.
Because that will bring the entire Arab world, which has repeatedly said that's the precondition for normalcy, it will bring the 57 countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation all to say, yes, this is what we have been saying for decades. This is finally coming to reality.
It would bring about a collapse of the Netanyahu government.
Yes.
Most likely. But, in this world, it's so important to understand the world cannot be organized for the survival of a particular incumbent, especially one that has made egregious errors, if you want to be,
Terrible.
I don't know, very charitable about it, or egregious crimes, if you want to take a different approach. The world cannot be organized for the sake of a few individuals. It can't be organized for the sake of Netanyahu. It can't be organized for the sake of Zelensky. Yes, it should be organized for the sake of the Ukrainian people, for the sake of the people of Israel, for the sake of the people of Palestine, but not for a particular government. And if the government is extreme, if the government is pursuing an agenda of war when war absolutely makes no sense for their population, nor for the United States.
So there's Jeffrey Sachs. Not that different from what I heard from the hardcore MAGA guy. That's kind of surprising to me.
This globalism falling apart. I mean, that's what that is.
I hope so.
That's that. Well, it doesn't mean that it's going to be all of a sudden good. What it means is that specific brand of authoritarian, tyrannical entity, which that was Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Obama. They are all part of it. The reason, see, this is what's so upsetting to me is, oh, he's just saying this stuff now, and it's that simple. So we could have had done this.
Yeah.
But why didn't we? Because the psychopaths that ran that New World Order mafia, their term, I didn't make it up, Alex Jones didn't make it up, that's their term, the New World Order. And what was the idea? We're going to have control the world. Like evil James Bond villain shit. And everybody just act like it was fine to say that. And it wasn't. It was crazy. It shouldn't sound crazy that Trump said we should mind our own goddamn business.
So one cannot be certain that the president of the United States will recognize Palestine. This is from the Black Opinion. If, though, this is being discussed, then I suggest that Donald Trump starts wearing Kevlar along with those tasked with protecting him. The political attack on Trump will come from within his own administration. Mike Huckabee, who is the current U.S. ambassador to Israel, will definitely resign and turn on him. AIPAC will turn their paid lackeys in both the House and the Senate onto the president. Trump should retaliate by labeling AIPAC a foreign agent. If Trump is physically attacked, I can almost certainly assure you that the assailants will not be from Iran.
We all know that. Also, Mike Huckabee, I think Huckabee's a punk at the end of the day that wouldn't turn on him. This is such a monumental thing if it's, again, if true.
If true. Now,
because Trump says a lot of great shit.
Yeah.
And we'll see if it happens.
We'll see
is my feeling.
But he has done, I mean, he did do the trade deal with China. He is, according to Jeffrey Sachs, close to getting the Ukraine war, which is why I got to get my special out fast. And before that becomes old news. And what else did he do? India, Pakistan, the Yemen, and the Houthis.
So far he's been better than Biden, but I thought the whole thing was we're going to drop all the bullshit lies and crap. So maybe that's coming still. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not encouraged on that front because if we stay in this lie structure, it's never going to be fixed no matter what he does.
So here is this, Lisbeth says, I call BS. This is meaningless when Israel is on the verge of annexing the West Bank and occupying Gaza. Is Trump and his administration going to pressure them to stop, dismantle the settlements, and withdraw from Palestinian land? Not seeing it. An arms embargo and sanctions are what's needed. I agree with that.
Just stop helping them.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's all we have to do. We don't have to sanction them. We just have to stop giving them money and arms. Guy says, if true, these demons will first orchestrate a mass killing like 9/11 again, or failing that, they will orchestrate another false flag like they did on October 7th when Hamas was let in. I agree that they're not going to go down easy. They're going to do false flags on American military installations in the Middle East like crazy. If not, do one here in the United States, because they've done it before. Holy crap, indeed, if this happens, Trump deserves multiple Nobel Peace Prizes as long as he's not going to F it up elsewhere. Well, if the history is any guide, every Nobel Prize winner F's it up somewhere else.
Yeah, you can't even win one unless you did that.
Yeah.
Look, bottom line, if Trump makes a peace with Iran, a separate peace without Israel involved, and peace with the Houthis without Israel involved, how can you do a false flag at that point? Because we have peace deals with these people without Israel involved. So the only suspect in that case would, in fact, be Israel.
They'll figure out a way, believe me. They'll blame it on ISIS and say that ISIS, or they'll blame it on the Houthis and say they're backed by Iran. This is Iran's doing. That's how they've been doing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was lame last time. It was like...
Mm-hmm. Well, it's an understatement to say that the American public can be manipulated easily to hate Muslims, Arabs, and anybody that... Even Russians, right? Anybody that the war machine wants them to be manipulated into hating, they can do it.
Well, all the resentment at the Muslims was all the like, oh, you can't draw their guy, and they think that they can put their religious rules on you, and blah blah blah. And then it turned out wokies had even more rules. They didn't go, just don't draw us. They had, you have to die in the street of starvation if you offend me in the slightest way or give any pushback to any nonsense thing that comes on my dumb head. So they were way worse than anything. And I remember going, boy, we owe all them Arabs. This is before all this. We owe them an apology because all they said was don't draw our guy. There's 20 more rules that we have that they don't have.
Right, like dead naming.
You shut up with that.
Oh,
Dude, I don't even know how people think they're still going to pull off I'm mad you said that's gone.
okay, so let me just show you this. This is from Dave DeCamp, antiwar.com. Dave DeCamp tweets out, according to my count, the new Trump administration has launched at least 24 airstrikes in Somalia. So, U.S. launches airstrike in Somalia, says it's targeted at al-Shabaab. The attack marks the 5th U.S. airstrike in Somalia this month. So, there you go.
Do you remember, Jimmy, since we started helping Africa fight Islamic terror, the numbers on how much it went up since we started helping?
Yes, that's right.
What was it, 30,000%?
Yes.
Something that sounds made up. It was like 30, I swear to God.
So again, as with all things, with Trump, it's a mixed bag. Okay, good work, Dave DeCamp. Over to Steph.
You know, all right, here we go. Splingster, you came back on the other side. Someone suggested the two hosts of the China show. If you want USA, ID, CIA propagandists to tell you lies and misinformation about China, they are two great liars. Oh, Splingster, doubling down. Ry Dawson ties Khashoggi to Epstein. He would know. Degenerate society. Savage. Ersatz is DA description of coke the CIA sells. Ersatz means inferior goods sold as substitute. Savage. Thank you, Savage. He keeps threatening Russia with sanctions and Iran with war, not to mention that his attitude towards China and his trade deals with Ukraine and the UK prove he's an imperialist. Garavnos. So, 33rd Eye Open. Trump passed an act to hide the number of casualties from the drone program. You are correct. I did not know that. And I believe it was in March of 2019. I think I looked that up, that he took that, right? He decided that we're going to hide the number of casualties because of drone hits. Thank you for that reminder. Much appreciated, 33rd Eye. He is more of the same, arbitrarily implemented by an unstable narcissist. The fact that mainstream politicians would have escalated things faster isn't a guarantee of non-interventionist policies. Garavnos. He said cabal as it was he said cabal as it was a cabal that got ye into cabal. Tadgi.
Oh, look
McCarthy,
at that.
right? Derek Morris, Trump, as usual, is talking out of both sides of his mouth. Remember his post on Instagram about Gaza that had the Trump statue and Trump Gaza? Shame. Thank you for that. Back to Mr. Jim.